Hi everyone, here's a quick demo on the new features of the LogCleaner version 4. So let's launch this cleaner, go to Universal Cleaner, and we're going to clean a standard log. So I'm going to go get this log, open that, click on Auto Configure so that it does most of the work for me, and then click through the configuration of this log. One new feature is that when I specify how it should find the date and time in my log, it now remembers them by label and not by column. So if your log gets shuffled around, it remembers where each of those are. Same concept for latitude, longitude. And now we get to a couple of new things here. First of all, if you have a huge amount of variables, you can easily search them up here, which can come in handy. And then I've got this distribution little icon, and that's a way to have a peek at what is in my log. So I want to look at the boat speed values in my log. Click on this, and I get a graph with a function of the values taken by boat speed and how often they occurred. And then I get some stats down there, how many lines there are in total in my log, and how many times was the boat speed missing. In our case, it never was, which is good news. Click next, there's this filtering page, no change here. And now when we get to the calculations, we have two tabs. One is not new, so we can calculate and derive variables from whatever is in our log, or convert a text variable into a number. And then in the case that there is no wind in our log, we actually have some options. If there is some wind, I'll just click ignore and nothing is done, and it will output the wind that was in my log. Or I can specify, please use this constant true in speed and true in direction. I can also get wind from a GRIB file, in which case I'll need to look up that GRIB file, make sure I'm synchronizing this with my input log. So if my input log is not on UTC time, I might have to shift my GRIB time a little bit. But this shift can also have the purpose of shifting through time if whatever was predicted in the GRIB happened a bit later because I observed it. I could actually shift that here. I can also correct the true in speed and true in direction. And then I can also say, well, actually, the wind is actually coming from an external file, be it a file that was generated by a wind sensor on a chase boat, or maybe it could be I just took notes. Somebody took notes while I was in the water, and I created this file which has timestamps and true in speeds and true in directions. Well, I can load that into here, and it will get merged into my log of data. And as you saw, I just need to have a couple of measures here, there, different time points, and it will do linear interpolation through all those. I also need to specify what the labels are going to be in the output. And so the reason for that is that, in fact, it could be that in my log there is some wind, but what I would like to see is, in parallel to the wind that was measured on the boat, the wind coming from the GRIB. In this case, I could say, well, when you're going to read the wind from the GRIB, please label it at the output as the GRIB true in speed and GRIB true in direction. In that case, I might not want to compute GRIB true in angle, probably doesn't make much sense. But if you don't have wind in your log, then maybe you do want to compute true in angle, in which case it's asking you what should be referred to for the headings. In my case, it found two variables which were declared as angle 360, and those were cog and heading. So I'm going to compute true in angle using that true in direction taken from the GRIB and whatever heading was in my log. So that's pretty much it for the universal cleaner. The good news is that the same options were implemented for the other cleaners, such as the GPX2 log, the KML, or the Salmon cleaner. All of those, you can now specify a GPX file and also associate true in speed, true in direction, and optionally true in angle to it using a GRIB or another log file, or just a constant. Last feature from the LogCleaner is this log extract. When we are dealing with really large logs and we just want to see an extract of that log to see what the labels are and how the values are formatted. Is my Latin long in degrees, dot degrees, or are they in degrees, minutes, seconds? Sometimes the log is just too large to be opened with Notepad, so you can use this handy little tool. Click on log extracts, select my log, say I want to see one header line, probably has the labels, skip 100 lines and extract 20 lines, and that's what I want to see. Click on extract, and it doesn't matter if your log is 500 megs or a gig, it should relatively quickly come out with a file showing you for exactly what you asked for. And that's it for the new features.